So the other day, Rashan Gary was on the Rich Eisen show, and as they were talking, Rich Eisen asked Rashan Gary about Caleb Williams and facing Caleb Williams coming into this 2024 season. So let's give this a listen.
I'm going to take my crack at this question here, kind of mixing sports a little bit up, Rashan, because there's a conversation I'm sure that you hear about in the WNBA and Caitlin Clark being a rookie and how there's a lot of welcome to the WNBA moments that she's been delivered by some veterans. What's your mindset going to be with Caleb Williams on the other side of the line of scrimmage, Rashan?
Yeah, in that time in the season, what you said, that's 12 games in, so we'll have some good tape, on him, understanding of, how the Bears want to run the offense through him, or, they're going to be pass heavy by that time, run heavy by this time. So we're going to understand and have a better feel than, where we would, week one in terms of, getting more trick plays, things like that. But, from what I could see from college, man, great arm, great vision. And, right now we just got to be able to contain him and still play our ball.
So as Rashan Gary did bring up in that segment, the Packers and Bears do play for the first time in Week 11, which means the Packers will have a lot of film on Caleb Williams to sort of know how the Bears like to operate their offense. But I see how this could also play in Caleb Williams' favor, just because you think about a young rookie quarterback who is going to come into the league this season and probably have to figure some things out, learn how the NFL operates, and I feel like by Week 11 or 12, he probably will have picked up a lot of things and sort of how he wants to operate as an NFL QB. You look back to Jordan Love last season, and I think it was really around Week 11 or 12 where Jordan Love really started to get things in check, and that's sort of the starting point of the crazy tear he went on for the final around 8 games of the season, where he threw like 18 touchdowns, 1 interception. It was around Week 11 or 12, and we saw earlier in that season last year with Jordan Love that he starts off really hot the first couple games. Then he goes through this down stretch where he was having a lot of problems with accuracy. He didn't seem to be trusting himself. And so with Caleb Williams, even though he's a really talented prospect, you would assume that there's going to be some kind of growing pains with him coming into the NFL and learning how, the NFL operates. And I would almost rather the Packers face the Bears like Week 1 or 2 when Caleb Williams is brand new to the NFL. But we'll see what happens Week 11. The Packers do have a bye week right before they play the Bears, so they'll have an extra week to prepare for Caleb Williams. And the thing about Caleb Williams, where the Packers in past years have struggled, is with quarterbacks who can run the ball. We've seen it over the past couple seasons. Lots of times the Packers have struggled to contain guys who have that elite athleticism, who can get things done with their legs on the ground. And so I'm curious to see how they match up with Caleb Williams. I do think the different pieces the Packers have added here on defense, like Edgerrin Cooper, who has insane speed, I feel like he'll be key in a matchup versus Caleb Williams because he has that elite sideline-to-sideline speed. Him or Quay could be the QB spy if they want to key in on Caleb Williams and try to limit what he can do on the ground. And then on the backside of the Packers defense and their secondary, I think there's a lot more speed and talent there, with Xavier McKinney being the biggest part, and Javon Bullard, second-round pick, also going to be back there. And so it's going to be fun to see. And for a while, the Packers have dominated the Bears. I found some stats before this video. The Bears are 2-18 versus the Packers since June of 2014, so the past 10 years. The Bears have lost the last 10 games versus the Packers, and the Bears have not beat the Packers since 2018. And we have seen the Bears get new quarterbacks over the years. Mitch Trubisky, Justin Fields, there was a lot of hope in the air. I thought, Justin Fields had a chance to be good, but clearly he was not the answer for Chicago. And so Caleb Williams, watching him in college, he's an insane athlete, can do a lot, and you would assume that lots of that translates to the NFL, but you honestly don't know until it happens, and we've seen so many number one QB prospects bust. I'm not saying that's going to happen with Caleb Williams, but by the time that Week 11 comes around, the Packers play Justin Fields, we're going to have a better idea of what kind of quarterback he is at that point in his rookie career. And for the Packers as well, they have a new defense, and so Week 1, they could be starting to figure things out, learning how they operate with each other, the chemistry, all that kind of stuff. And by Week 11, you'd assume the Packers defense has, figured a lot of things out. And so I think there's pros and cons from both sides when it comes to it being much later in the season. And of course, we'll get to see them play once again after Week 11. And so I'm honestly excited. I hope Caleb Williams, in a way, part of me hopes Caleb Williams is good. part of me hopes he isn't, because, as a Packers fan, when guys in your division are just bad players, it's helpful in the win column. But when it comes to like entertainment, it could be exciting if Caleb Williams is an elite quarterback and Jordan Love already showing that he is elite. That could be a fun matchup for the next 10 plus years, a fun rivalry to be a part of and watch. Because recently, even though the Packers and Bears still have a rivalry, it hasn't been incredibly competitive. So I wouldn't mind seeing some more competitiveness from the Bears, and we'll see if we get that coming into 2024 with Caleb Williams. And they have a ton more weapons here than they had with Justin Fields last year. Of course, adding Rome Odunze early in the draft, but also having Keenan Allen now, pairing him with DJ Moore. So I feel like Caleb Williams has a very nice situation in Chicago, and they were 7-10 last year, so it's not like they were absolutely terrible. So if he comes in and plays like the Bears believe he can, then this probably will be a team that's pushing to enter the playoffs potentially. So we'll see what takes place in the coming months. If you want more Packers content, feel free to subscribe down below. I also have a second NFL channel. I'll link a video to that channel right here, so you can check that out if you would like. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.